Hello and welcome to a new video of Pongo BTC, and today we're going to talk about the graph. I'm going to tell you what the graph is, what its potential is, what the current price action is, and then we consider maybe investing into graph. Let's get started. Alright, so what we see right here is the website of the graph. And what is the graph actually? And probably if you have heard a little bit about the graph, you've heard people say it's the Google of the blockchain. And of course, that's a very nice name to have, since Google is one of the biggest companies in the dot-com bubble. So why wouldn't the Graph be one of the biggest companies in the crypto bubble, right? Is it one that can survive? Well, let's first talk about what it actually is and what its potential is, and then let's see the comparison between the Graph and Google. All right, so what the Graph tries to do is make APIs for a vibrant, decentralized future. And if you're a developer, APIs might say something to you, but if you're not, it might not. So what an API really is, it's a piece of code which you can call and actually gives you some value back. So how you can see it is, I want to see the current price of Bitcoin, and you ask an API, and this API sends back the current price of Bitcoin. And this is just a piece of code which we can call and call functions on. That's what an API is. Now, what the graph tries to do is create an API for all different kind of other cryptocurrency projects. So what we can see right here is, for example, what are the newest DeFi products? And let me get back to this. And then we query the graph and ask them, what are the most recent DeFi products, and then the graph gives a return value of, let's hope this can pause for a sec. I For DeFi Prime, Opus, this is a very annoying website actually, and all different kind of return values. So we ask something and the graph gives something back. Well, this is nothing new, right? I mean, there are a lot of APIs already available, so what makes the graph thing so special? Well, the graph tries to be a decentralized API. So what this means is what we currently do on the blockchain. The blockchain is very large and we don't have an efficient way of asking data from the blockchain. So what we do right now is we make a copy of the blockchain and we store it into a centralized database that we have right now, and then we can query it efficiently, like we have always done with large data in web and with large data as we've done so far. But we don't have a way yet to decentralized query a large piece of data like the blockchain. So what makes the graph special is it actually implements a way to decentrally query a big piece of data. And let me explain you why this is very essential. If we have a centralized authority that copies the blockchain and makes an API and gives you return values, for example, what are the latest DeFi products, then we have to trust the centralized entity that it actually tells the truth. So let's say, for example, ETH Explorer. This is a very good example. If we go to ETH Explorer, let me go there, and we can query the blockchain here for a certain hash, and we can check its current balance, and we can see all the blocks, etc., etc., etc. So let me go to a transaction here. We get all kind of data on the blockchain. So how this is done right now is they have their own database which stores all of this data and we query it. If we were to do this decentralized, we directly ask the Ether blockchain, it would take a very long time and we don't have efficient ways of doing it. So if I want to build an application that uses this data from ETH Explorer, then I have to trust this entity. And ETH Explorer might alter some data and I don't get the truth. And this is very harmful. So what the graph tries to do, it tries to find an efficient way of querying decentralized data, like all of these large blockchains that we have right now. All right. So if you want to read about the technicals on how they do it, you can check their documentation. They explain what the graph is. You can ask questions. It's an API. Then we see some more technicals right here on how it really works. But what I want to go into is what my thoughts are on the graph. Well, first of all, the comparison with Google. It compares with Google in a way that we ask questions to large data and we get a result back. So in Google, we search for a certain thing, and the large data are all the websites that are available. So let's say I want to see something about cats, then I type in cat on Google, and Google queries the whole World Wide Web and gives me the proper values. What the graph does is the same. We ask for something, and then the graph gives us back data querying from a large piece of data. So in some sense, the comparison is very valid. However, you have to think about the social impact. Of course, Google is used by a lot of users, and everyone needs to query different websites. And the graph has a different user base. We don't really use the graph personally. At least that's not how I see it. You can, of course. But what I see the graph as is a very good tool for other blockchain projects to use in their own projects. So if I use all the data from Ethereum, I can actually use it in my project. And that's why I think the user base is a bit different. So as in terms of a company, the comparison is somewhat valid, but not entirely. However, though, I do think the graph is very unique in what they do. There are few projects that actually do this right now, what they are doing. And I think it definitely has put more potential than it has right now, and it might be a bit undervalued. Let's go into the price a bit, since if you are following the graph, it has rallied over the last couple of days. This is the hourly graph. Let me actually go to a longer graph. And what we see right here is that it was consolidating around this area on the GRT BTC graph, around this area, and eventually we broke out of that area, we broke resistance, and then we had a large increase of, let me get the price range, from the breakout more than 100% compared to BTC over a few days. So that's actually amazing. So should you buy in now? Well, I think that the graph had a really nice run and it needs to cool down a bit. So this is not financial advice. However, I would say the prices right now are a bit too high and I definitely want to buy into the graph personally, but not at these prices. So some prices that I'm looking at are, for example, this area right here. I might buy some. So that's around 4,000 Satoshi, around this area. And obviously, if we do come down all the way to this part, I will buy some more. So my first buying point will be around this area, and my second buying point will be around that area. If it never reaches this downwards area, I'm also fine with my smaller bags that I already buy right here, and I just let it ride up. If I look into previous resistance, we see that we have also broken that. So if you do want to buy some more bags even after this, whoa, I would say this could also be a turning point for the graph where we come back to the previous resistance point and then we continue further up. Right now the graph is at place 29 in CoinMarketCap. I think this can definitely have a place in at least the top 20 because it solves such a unique purpose, and a lot of things in the top 20 are duplicates of each other, so to say. Not really duplicates. They serve another purpose, but they kind of have the same thing going for them. But I think the graph is so unique that it could actually get into the top 20. So if it would replace Tron right now, it would already double. And the whole market cap would also grow, of course. So I think the graph is definitely a nice investment. It might be a bit too inflated right now, but I leave that up to you to decide. Alright, this is everything I wanted to say about the graph. If you like this video, please drop a like. And I've got a lot of attention on the last video. We almost got 1,000 views. I'm really proud of that. Please, all of you, smash a like. And if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. I really enjoy all of the comments that I get. Um, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.